glitch, if you will, because we were supposed to have a 12-rider field with only 6 moving on to the semis. There are only 6 riders in this heat. Therefore, all 6 will be moving on to the semis.
Oh, now look who's doing all the math.
Well, when it's a paint by numbers, I'm able to jump in. But Frank Bush looking very good. And if anything, it's a preview of what's to come in the semis.
But take note, Frank Bush and Kirkpatrick, they definitely pulled away from the whole pack in that race.
So David Bush takes the top spot, but again, all 6 riders from this first quarter will be moving on to the semis.
Look at him just sliding his way to that checker flag. Woo! Pulls away with the win, looks back like, did I have a good lead on that one?
Under the lights here in the City of Industry, and it's David Bush taking the top spot, but all 6 riders moving on to the semis, which means we now move on to our second quarterfinal. We'll see if this one has 12 riders.
I think it's a little short as well. Looking through the window, not at the screen right now, I see somewhere around 6, 7 riders. Let's see, 1, 2, I'm doing the math here.
Keep
3.
going, I'm with you.
I see 3 right there, 4,
5,
6.
Even though he put 2 up,
Wait.
that doesn't count as more than 1.
I know there's enough guys out there that some people aren't making it to the next race. 5, 6, 7, 8.
There's 8 riders, so only 6 will be moving on. So we're gonna have a battle on our hands.
I wish you viewers could see what's going on here in the booth as Brando is using his fingers to count the riders.
You don't do that?
Track.
You brought a Texas Instruments calculator in here.
What happened there? Did someone jump the gate? Is he move? Is he having to?
That
move
was Hill. So now he's got to move on to the back. And here's our field of 8.
We'll see if Hill can reel him back in and get to the front of the pack, having to start technically on the 3rd row.
Some big names in this heat, Lance, including the guy in first place, Daniel Mishler. JJ Flaherty obviously in this one.
Well, one thing I gotta say is Hill is a guy that I actually grew up racing motocross with. I don't think he ever went pro riding motocross, but again, now he's here. And he was, in the first gate. Made a mistake. And I don't see him catching back up just yet, but let's see if he can do it. Mishler holding his line real well, staying out in the front.
Mishler, again, our defending champ from X Games Minneapolis a year ago.
Mishler's coming up on Hill. He may lap him. 4 laps to go. We will see if Mishler can start lapping guys in this race. Oh, he's got his eyes on the prize. He's catching up. I think, unfortunately, I think I'm talking about some.
Oh no!
There's Mishler.
No, it's not. It's actually Brad Spencer. The standings aren't right. It's not Mishler who's actually in first place. It's Brad Spencer, who was our top-ranked qualifier a year ago. So it's not Mishler, it's 57-year-old Brad Spencer, a familiar name on the X Games Hooligan stage, who takes the top spot. Anything can happen here at Hooligan. He actually lost his transponder. That's why you're not seeing his name there, but it's actually not Mishler. Do not believe your eyes, believe your ears when I tell you Brad Spencer won.
That's why we have you here. I was getting all into the racing. I was looking past the screen.
Brad Spencer out of Gilroy, California. Thought he had the lead early. And then that was where we thought that Mishler had overtaken it. But Brad Spencer was able to fend him off. You saw the bike drop there midway through the race. But congratulations again to Brad Spencer. Familiar territory for good old Brad. The oldest competitor in our field last year. He does not have that honor this year, as we've got a 67-year-old in the field here tonight. So now we've got it correct. Those are the 6 riders who will be moving on to the mains, or excuse me, the semis. So Mishler does get in. JJ Flaherty also gets in. Louders, Hill, Bush. But it was all led by Brad Spencer. So I think we're seeing some moving and shaking from the initial lists that we got for this quarterfinals. Some guys that we thought were going to be in the 3rd heat moved up to 2 and vice versa. So just bear with us if we're making some name mistakes or if you're not seeing certain names on the screens. But it's now time for our 3rd of 4 quarterfinals. Again, just 6 riders from this heat will be moving on to the semis. Sanchez, Smith, Vasquez, Ginter, Bronstad, Chamley, Slay, and Boone. And they're off. And it looks like, was that Boone who got the whole shot? I believe so.
Notice the track's kind of ridden in a little bit more. You don't see as many riders laying it down in the first turn. Oh, a little squirrely, but more people are staying up. And look at the track. You see how there's those, they're called blue groove. And what it basically is the dirt's actually getting so hard packed that rubber from the tires is actually getting stuck into the dirt, which is actually making it a little bit stickier for the riders. Now the situation is if any dust gets on top of that, then it can become slippery.
7 laps to go. 43-year-old Chris Boone out of Tennessee is your leader.
You see them all lined up there, kind of tire to tire. Any one of them makes a mistake and they're getting by you.
We've just been told Chamley is actually in 2nd place. He also lost his transponder, and so that's why you're not seeing his name up there, but he's currently sitting behind Boone with 4 laps to go. Again, qualifying in that top spot is nice, but you really want to get into the top 6 if you want to move into the semis. Schmidt right now holding on to that bubble position. So Chris Boone with a sizable lead with just 2 laps to go, Lance. You see the look back on the final lap. Chris Boone knows he will be moving on to the semis. And there you see a look at the finish. Those are the top 6 that will be moving on to the semifinals. Take another look at the start. Boone got to the inside, grabbed that lead, and never let it go. The top spot out of the gate. And he earns this quarterfinal win, making a statement as he moves on into the semis. So there's a look at our list. Chris Boone leading the way here in heat number 3 of that quarterfinal. And Schmidt was sitting in 6th place, Lance, but it looks like Vasquez was able to best him and get into that 6th spot. So we're set to kick off our 4th and final quarterfinal here at the Speedway at the Grand. Our Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. A good look at our lineup. And it looks like we got a few more drops there, Lance.
Kind of circling the names right now on my sheet to try to keep an eye on who's out there.
It looks like there's only 6 in this final quarterfinal, so with that, we can comfortably say all of these riders you see on your screen will be moving on to the semis.
One thing I want to point out is there's 2 Beermans out there. And so there's going to be a father-son battle. Hopefully they get close to each other in that race, and you know, Rubin's racing.
The elder Bierman earned a spot into the main last year in this qualifier, and Tyler did not. So we'll see if Tyler can best his dad or at least join him.
Now watch right there. Dad kind of tried to jump the gate a little bit.
Yep.
And he got pushed to the back, I think. Oh, wait, no. That was the number 8.
Yeah, that was Garcia.
Gotcha.
And they're off. There's a good look at that first turn.
Number 27.
Yeah, I think that's Vestal.
Two dads out there running 3-4, Garcia and Behrman. Those are the dads of 2 races that are going to X Games. So 2 father-son duos going to X Games, and 2 fathers are out there about to battle each other.
What an awesome story, but it's Vestal leading the way. Frank Garcia sitting right behind him. And Tyler Bierman rounding out our top 3, 7 laps to go.
Are we going to be able to see Garcia put it to Vestal?
Well, with 6 laps to go, there's definitely time, and we have a bike down.
Hunter Cleed down.
You see Garcia trying to make his move, but Vestal won't give an inch.
But 4 laps to go, anything can happen. Vestal can make a mistake. Garcia can keep an eye on him and know when it's the time to put it to him.
Vestal just clinging to the inside. Does Frank Garcia perhaps think about trying to jump around him to the outside? Or wait for a crease?
I'm just not sure if the track is ridden in enough on the outside lines, and he just won't get the traction he needs to slingshot around him.
Well, he knows he's already moving on to the semis. It's really about bragging rights of who's the top ranked out of this quarter. And right now it looks to be Vestal.
Last lap, they're coming up with a checkered. There it is. Vestal holds on to it. One thing to note is that Randy did not make it last year. So this will be, I think, his first year making it to X Games.
Oh, that's right.
That's pretty cool. I mean, to try 1 year, not make it, and come back the next year and seal the deal.
I think it's a neat storyline, just that in and of itself. But oh, by the way, you're getting to go on this journey alongside your son.
Yeah.
Just amazing. Along with the Garcias, as you said, Frank and Frankie.
Oh!
Vestal made it interesting there after the checkered. So what a way to cap off our final quarterfinal. It was Vestal taking the top spot, but there you see all 6 of those riders moving on to the semis. Let's head down to Diana, who's with the Biermans.
The Biermans are here. Tyler, Randy Bierman, another father-son combo. Now, this is just an amazing thing to watch. You know, you got the whole crowd cheering you guys on. Now, Tyler, you've had a very extensive background in two-wheel motorsports, from supercross racing, now to Harleys, flat tracking. How amazing is this experience to share it with your father?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up and they've taken me to the races for years, and just to be able to give something back to them, obviously I can't repay them for everything that they've done for me, but if this is a little something, I don't know what it is. I get to pinch myself to be out here with my dad, and I'm going to the big show with my pops, so not only does he get to go there and watch me compete in my other events, but I get to race the old man and hopefully put it to him.
That's right. Randy, you guys are going to Minneapolis. Express to me what it was like growing up with this kid on weekends with all the events you guys had going on.
Oh, it was awesome. I wouldn't replace it for anything in the world. We had so much time together traveling all over the country and stuff, and just had a blast. I wouldn't change anything. And so for him to kind of get into flat track, which is my background, and to come out here and do this together, I'm really pumped that I redeemed myself from last year. I had a spot and I threw it away on my own, so it felt good to come back and redeem myself and get in this time. So I'm really pumped.
You know, did you ever imagine that this is where you would be at, where he's at in his life, that you two would be together at a flat track race going against each other?
No, I didn't think that. Actually, I'm just kind of riding on his coattails. Tyler's done an amazing job for himself in his racing career, and I'm super proud of him. And I'm just kind of pumped to come out here and be able to run around in circles with him, and especially go to the X Games now. It's going to be awesome. So.
Well, great son that you've raised here. Tyler Bierman, such an amazing career you've had as well. And Randy Bierman, the Bierman duo heading to Minneapolis. Branda, Lance, back to you.
That's such an awesome story. Thank you, Diana. Flat track really in their bloodlines. Randy's dad was actually a flat track racer as well. So our semifinals are officially set. Brad Spencer, at 56 years old last year, won our qualifier. He won one of our quarterfinals. He's moving on to the semis. Let's check in on the Gilroy, California native. But again, you can't count out the guys who literally just hit the course. Of course, Atkins certainly is a name to keep your eyes on. Brad Spencer, certainly. Terry Vestal. JJ Flaherty, and how about Ricky Renaro, who I think has just been sneaky good all night long. I would take his lap times against anybody in this field. He looked so good in that round of one and just picked up where he left off in the semis.
Well, he did end himself up in 8th place overall during practice for lap time, so.
It should be noted, race tires provided by Dunlap.
Well, you see all the rubber on the ground out there and burning tires. Someone's got to support him, so why not be Dunlop?
There you see the number 17 plate, Sam Fisher, out of Hartford, Wisconsin. part of our 12-man final. JJ Flaherty has looked so good. Here you see Daniel Mishler, of course Benny Carlson, Terry Vestal, 429 Ricky Renaro, Flair, Benny Carlson.
Is that going to affect him in this race?
Clearly it was advantageous. I thought it was wind resistant, not an issue at all. And how about this guy? 7M, the oldest rider in the field by just 3 years, mind you. 56-year-old Gilroy, California native, Brad Spencer.
Something crazy to think about is all the guys up there in the front line are basically winners from the night.
Right.
So they all have what it takes to win.
These guys are ready to get this thing going. Again, all of them already qualifying for X Games Minneapolis, and here we go. It's 429. Ricky Renaro right out of the gate, picking up where he left off in the semi just moments ago.
And the 7M of Brad Spencer right there on him.
But there you see JJ trying to make his move in that third spot. Can he get around Spencer?
They're already catching lappers right now.
Yeah, Tyler Bierman just got lapped. And it's Ricky Renaro, but can Spencer catch him on the inside? No, Renaro cuts him off.
These three are tight right now. Anything can happen.
JJ trying to make the move to the inside. He's sitting in third place, but it's Renaro still holding on to the top spot.
Who's going to put a tire in to make it happen?
Can Spencer get around him? And it looks like he does. On lap 6, Spencer takes the lead.
The oldest and wisest rider out there.
56-year-old Brad Spencer. And now JJ jumps into second place. 2 laps to go. Can he catch Spencer?
Is Brad Spencer going to hold on to it?
It's a 2-man race with 2 laps to go. Spencer and JJ Flaherty.
So we have the last year's X Games winner for Hooligan in second place, and 7M Brad Spencer in first. Uh-oh, look at him. He won,
And
that was
that's it. Brad Spencer, 56 years old, the oldest competitor out here tonight, wins Harley Racing Hooligan here at the X Games Qualifier. Wow.
That is inspiring.
Brad Spencer, who was sitting in second place early, made his move midway through, and then there was no looking back.
That pass was clean. He knew what he wanted, eyes on the prize, and he took it.
And JJ Flaherty, the guy with the hardware, the gold medal from Hooligan last year at X Games Minneapolis, has to settle for second.
But he didn't let him go. You know, Brad did not run away from JJ. A couple more laps, who knows what would have happened. Obviously, Brad won. But we're going to have to see what happens in X Games Minneapolis with these guys.
What a finish. These guys saving their best for last. It's Brad Spencer, JJ Flaherty, and Ricky Renaro as your top 3. Oh my gosh, that was such an amazing race just a year ago. Brad Spencer, can he pick up where he left off? We'll find out. Welcome back to the world of X Games. It's our Harley-Davidson Hooligan Racing Qualifier here in the City of Industry. And we're getting ready for our first semifinal of the night, 1 of 2. The top 6 from each semi will be moving on to our final here at the Industry Hills Expo Center. But Brad Spencer, what a story. Again, I felt like I said his age 8,000 times during that race, but it bared repeating. He was the oldest competitor in that field and put it down.
That's true. And one thing that I noticed about watching the race from last year, basically, those bikes were riding on the concrete.
Right.
They were able to lean them over so far with so much consistency all the way through the corner, all the way, every single lap, it was basically the same. Today, they're having to ride on the dirt. It's always changing. And I know I said that at the beginning of the show, but again, it's changing every single race. So it's cool to see these riders have to adapt, and it's cool to see them have to be patient during the the whole race itself.
11 riders, just 6 will be moving on to the main.
See the riders still all bunched up out there.
And we're 9 laps to go. And surprise, surprise, who's in the lead? Brad Spencer.
How do you know that?
Again, I think he's having some transponder issues like he did earlier in the LCQs, but it's Brad Spencer leading the way with that 73S plate.
So Brad Spencer is he is one man who knows how to make it win, how to take it home.
Spencer looked so impressive in Boise just a year ago. Again, already earning another spot to X Games Minneapolis earlier this evening. Now he's just trying to get into the main. And with 4 laps to go, he'll have no problem getting there, Lance.
I love how Brad makes a point to always come out in just all black. It's almost like he's in a sweatshirt every time. Black sweatshirt.
That's right. He did that last year too, didn't he? In the hooded sweatshirt.
Yep. He's not trying to prove anything. He's not trying to be flashy. He just goes out there. And I literally think he's in the exact same pants he was last year.
So as I said, Brad Spencer leading the way. You may not see his name on the standings there on the screen. He lost his transponder, which is what allows us to put his name and connect it into the standings. He did it in the LCQs, so you didn't see it there. But final lap, Brad Spencer.
He takes it.
There's just something about his riding style and this format and these courses that we do these hooligan races on that just respond so well to Brad Spencer.
He makes it look easy. When you just sit there and watch him, it honestly doesn't look like he's going the fastest, but that's what makes him the fastest.
Now watch this. He did not. Yeah, early on it was 44 there. You saw what we thought had the lead, but Spencer was just able to coast his way to the inside.
As cool as it looks when your bike's going sideways on the track or when you look like you're going fast, that, again, that's not always the fastest. The fastest rider is the one who keeps the traction down, the power to the ground.
And here's a look at passing that checkered flag. And really humble, too. I remember this in Boise, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, 57 years old, but doesn't have any major claims. I think it's just like business as usual for Brad Spencer as he moves on to the main.
Now look at the track like I was talking about coming out of that corner. Got a nice blue groove going, which is going to make it easier for these riders to come out with a little bit more power. They're going to be coming into the next corner with that much more speed than they have been all night.
It's time for our second and final heat here in the semis. We take one final look at the results. JJ Flaherty, by the way, a big name clinging to that 6th and final spot to move on to the main, and he does just that, besting James. Wow. JJ Flaherty, one of the best riders in this field. We haven't said his name much tonight. We'll see if that changes in the main as he's just able to move on. But it's our final semis group. Again, the top 6 from this crowded field will be moving on to the mains.
I see guys out there that were just out there racing. Tyler Bierman. I saw Frank Garcia. So they maybe had a couple minutes to rest, grab some water, maybe put some gas in the bike and get back out there and line them up.
Yep. Both Biermans, Vestal, Garcia, Vasquez.
Oh, we had a gate
Chris
jump.
Boone. Yep.
A gate jump, so he's going to have to go back. 2 of them. Frank Garcia, and I'm not sure the other rider, number 13.
Chris Boone.
Chris Boone. So they're going to have to get back there in the 3rd or 4th lineup. Let's see where they get lined up right now. And they're off.
Our second heat here in the semifinals. And is that Vestal who's got the lead? Picking up where he left off in the quarters.
That's right. He took the win in the quarters, and let's see if he can hold it right here in the semifinals.
Looks like Tyler Bierman behind him. Again, the top 6 moving on to the main. Right now it looks like Frank Garcia is in that bubble spot.
Again, I mean, these guys all want to make it to the main event, but everyone out there is going to X Games, so they're all going to race again in what, a month and a half?
Right. So how much does that play into the strategy? Obviously, Vestal's feeling good. You're in first place. You're where you want to be, but when you think about Tyler Bierman or Shamley there, do they get aggressive? Do they make a pass knowing that they're in a position to move on to the main and they've already got a big ticket to Minneapolis?
Well, I think we saw it earlier in one of the interviews. They were saying that their hearts always race in every single race that they start. And then after a lap or two, you kind of mellow out and you forget even, you know, where you are. You're almost just so in the race. That's all you're focused on. I don't even think that they're really thinking about X Games right now. They're thinking about what they're doing at that lap, that very minute. And they're racers and they want to win. I mean, let's face it.
So Bierman was looking to get to the inside of Vestal with 2 laps to go. But number 27, Vestal, has looked good all night, Lance. He is going to be a force in the final, that's for sure. And it looks like Bronstad is now holding on to that bubble spot, bouncing Garcia. Is that how it's going to finish?
And
oh, and Garcia able to squeeze by Bronstad and get that 6th and final spot to move on to the main.
what a race. All these guys are going to be smiles on their face at the end of the night.
A lot of smiles, a lot of high fives. Let's take a look at the start of this semi. Vestal put himself in a position to take the top spot from the very jump, and he never looked back. But Bronstad and Garcia had themselves a bit of a battle for that 6th and final spot. And at one point we thought Frank Garcia might be on the outside looking in, but if those standings end up being official, I believe Frank Garcia Sr. just squeaking into the main.
Yep. And these guys are getting no time to rest. I'm watching them right now have to go back out there and line up. You can see the track's cleared off, and right to the right of the screen, if you guys can't see if you're watching right now, there's already the racers that were just on the track. They're already out there lined back up. They didn't get a water break. I actually see someone running on the track right now. You can see him on the screen with a can of gas to go fill a bike up because they just ran a full moto and they didn't get to go back to the pits, and they must be running a little low on gas.
You've seen racing at all levels, Lance. The frenetic pace of this qualifier is probably unlike anything you've ever seen before in terms of guys literally just finishing a race and having to jump right back in.
Yep. So
we'll get a little course maintenance, but my goodness.
Yeah, so one thing that these riders are experiencing is arm pump. Basically, when you're holding on to the bike, controlling the bike for lap after lap, your forearm pumps up, and it makes it really hard to hold on to the handlebars. Really, it does. So these guys are experiencing it. And it's not getting any easier lap after lap, I'll tell you that.
Well, there you see Vestal, who just won that semi, getting gassed up. We're getting gassed up with the main, the final 12 riders left to see who wins it outright here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier.
So there's some, I'm going to try to get on Facebook right now and see who's watching this.
Can we run some comments?
And let's see where people are watching it from.
You know, Lance and I love to give shout outs. We love to hear where people are watching from.
So if you're on there, write a comment right now. I'm trying to get my phone open to check it out.
It's really a global qualifier, as we said. North America represented, South America represented. Australia has riders out here today. You see Vestal. Perhaps no one riding this course here better tonight than that man. One is quarterfinal with ease. One is semifinal with relative ease. Just got fueled up. He's got to be feeling good. Brad Spencer, of course, winning our qualifier a year ago.
Brando, I'm seeing some of these guys comment right now. We have Haley Swift out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
What up, Haley?
Wow, we have, I want to say his name's Rowan, watching from South Africa.
Rowan, what's good?
We got Kyle cheering on. Kerry Miller out of Hawaii.
Ooh, Kerry. Trade spots with you, man.
You guys have any questions you want answered? You guys have bikes out there?
Gracie out of Galesburg, Illinois, what up? Anthony Martinez, Dallas, Texas, stand up. Brad Benson and Minnie, we'll see ya. We'll see you in about 6 weeks, man. Athens, Alabama. Athcham wants a job, or Joib. So again, if you're just joining us, we're getting ready for the main. One single heat of 12 riders.
Oh man, look, Jay Henley out of Alabama. Was gonna race tonight, but I blew my knee out on Saturday racing at
Jay.
Beaver Creek.
Heartbreaker, man. We wish you were out here. Get him, Boone. Jay Henley. Yeah, he's out here.
Roland Sands is even out here watching it.
Hey, what up, Roland Sands? The Berman boys, baby. The family of the Bush Bros. Anthony Martinez out of Palmdale, California. Anthony, you could have come down here. Nathan, Australia. Well, thanks to all the fans commenting. Keep them coming. We got to get back to the broadcasts. But give us your predictions. Who do you think's going to win this thing? And have the bragging rights heading in to X Games Minneapolis.
So check it out. A lot of these riders, some of them had a couple minutes to kind of chill out in the pits, have a drink of water, and some of them have just been sitting out there since the last race. So that's gonna, you know, some guys' heart rates are still up, some guys' heart rates are down. We'll see how that takes effect to these racers out there.
Yeah, I think about guys like Vestal and Tyler Bierman. They raced in the last quarterfinal, then they raced in a semi, and now they're in the main.
Not to mention they got here at 6 a.m. to load in. Uh-oh. Vestal not getting his bike started. Does he need a bump? What's going on?
And it all comes down to this here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. Our main final event, 12 riders. Who will reign supreme? We're about to find out. A beautiful look at our course. There is our start list and some familiar names, Lance Corey. All of these riders have been putting it down all night. This thing is wide open. Brad Spencer, of course, our top-ranked qualifier from last year. Vestal's been riding this course so well.
We'll see who takes it. No matter what, this is really good practice for X Games coming up.
Really good point.
keeping the nerves up, trying to win races, getting exhausted, getting tired. It's all going to help in the long run.
This is what it's all about. Tyler Bierman, he'll be moving on to X Games Minneapolis. Want to let you fans know the race tires here tonight provided by Dunlop. Final race time. The main here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. Who's going to take the top spot?
And they're off. Vestal out there, is it?
Oh, and it looked like number 8 went down. Brad Spencer in familiar territory. Our winner from the qualifier a year ago is in first place.
Uh-oh, Frank Garcia out there in the middle of the track. Guys are having to get around him, get out of their normal comfy line.
This was the battle we've been waiting for all night, Vestal and Spencer. Perhaps no one riding this course better than those two, and they're 1 and 2 right now.
Can Vestal reel Spencer back in?
Brad Spencer, the 57-year-old, really staking his claim.
6 laps to go, and it doesn't look like Vestal's pulling him back at all right now.
And Brad Spencer has just been unbeatable all night. Lance, what are you seeing from his style of riding specifically on this course that's making him so good?
Again, I mean, even from last year to this year, he's really smooth with the throttle. I'm not sure if his bike's just that dialed in. You don't see his bike hopping too much on the track. And again, like I said, he almost doesn't look the fastest because he is so smooth.
It's so controlled. Daniel Mischler, our winner from X Games Minneapolis last year, is in 6th place. And JJ Flaherty, the winner in 2017, he's sitting in last place, but it's Brad Spencer in the top spot. And I don't know if anyone's gonna catch him, Lance.
Look at him go through the corners. I mean, it literally is like, it's art. He's so smooth, it just looks like butter as he's sliding through. There is a rider down on turn 1, the number 88 of Busch.
And that's the checkered flag. Brad Spencer goes back to back.
Wow.
Nobody races this Hooligan qualifier as well as Brad Spencer.
Let's see if he can take that energy and that momentum to X Games Minneapolis and take home an X Games gold.
Right, he was our top-ranked qualifier a year ago. It was Daniel Mischler, though, that took the win in Minneapolis. Let's see how Brad Spencer got it done, Lance.
Oh, Frank Garcia down. It's never fun.
But it was Brad Spencer getting the lead early. Didn't really have to fight for it. And Vestal, who we thought looked so fast on this track, could not catch the 57-year-old.
Look at him, takes a hand off him. He's like, yep, I got this.
That was a Shooter McGavin move right there, wasn't it? Well, Brad Spencer takes the top spot, but no one goes home a loser. All of these riders will be moving on to X Games Minneapolis. But congratulations to our top-ranked qualifier going back-to-back. Let's head down to Diana, who's with Brad.
Brad Spencer taking the crown here today. Brad, you absolutely dominated. And most importantly, you stayed up on 2 wheels, kept it consistent, and led every single race that you were in. How does it feel to be a back-to-back champ for the qualifying races? And then you're going to Minneapolis again.
It feels damn good. I mean, it was just, everything was spot on. It was working good. My kid made the right call, what I chose to ride tonight. It was great. And then also I like to thank some people out there. My wife's at home, she's battling. I like to think Suicide Machine. I gotta think Sean McConnell. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mad Dog McConnell. I like to think S&S, Bell Helmets, Oakley. I mean, hell, there's so many people I can't think of them all, but.
Brad, you know, you have to walk us through some of these races here tonight. I mean, how you get out with a whole shot every single time and dominate on the course. What is the secret to your success?
Smooth and steady. Smooth and steady.
Well, smooth and steady is what gave him the winning card tonight. Congratulations, Mr. Spencer. Amazing. We'll see him in Minneapolis. Brandon, Lance, back to you.
Thanks, Diana. Smooth and steady. I feel like he must have been listening to your commentary, Lance, because that's what you've been saying all night about Brad Spencer. It's not necessarily about the speed, but he's able to strategically get that hole shot, and then he doesn't let go. You don't see any hobble, no bobble in his riding.
Yep.
What a race we had. It was a great night of racing, how we got here. Brad Spencer, of course, our top-ranked qualifier in 2018. Left no doubt about it in the LCQs. Looked cool as a cucumber in semis. Got the whole shot in the main and never looked back, Lance.
Yep, it almost seemed like he was racing himself all night. He never really got in such a gnarly battle with anybody. He kind of always took it away from the beginning and kind of raced his own race. And I think that was the trick. And obviously, like him and I both said, smooth and steady wins the race.
And there's a look at our top three.
Look at how cool that is.
Yeah.
I mean, for the age group that was out there, I see more older men up there than I do the teens and 20-year-old kids.
Yeah, it's great to see some gray up there. Vestal, I mean, he really raced so well all night. We expected that to probably be the battle, right? Those two, because they looked so good and comfortable on this course. But Brad Spencer really looked the part. I mean, he looked like the guy that was our top-ranked qualifier last year. So congratulations to those three. Let's grab some of the comments. What did you guys think out there watching of that main?
I see riders on there. I see, people on Facebook right now asking, how do I get into this? How do I get into this?
How do you get into it, Lance?
I would say first things first is go to the local Harley dealership, kind of get to know the people. They're usually very friendly. Talk to them, see what bike you comfortably fit on, and they'll let you take a test ride. Take a test ride and see if it's something you want to get into.
Yeah, it's amazing. Brad Spencer made it look so easy. Last year's race in the qualifiers, there was a bit more flair of the dramatic. There was a battle for the top couple spots. We saw a bike go down. This one a little more anticlimactic, but no less sweeter, as Brad Spencer makes it 2 in a row. Again, there's a look at our top three. Talked a lot about Spencer and Vestal, and obviously Boone as well. Boone had his work cut out for him, if you remember, to get into that main. He had gotten bumped to the back during his semi. Was able to get into that top 6 field, make it into the final.
All right, Brando. All right, Brando, I want you to do some math for me. How many years of racing do we have out there on the podium?
God. Well, I can tell you this. I don't know as far as racing goes, but we've got well over a century of just men on our screen right now.
Yep. I would say that's motorcycle experience, and that's kind of why you see them up there, 1, 2, 3.
And the plates say it all. Officially invited to X Games Minneapolis.
Look at that, stoked.
Congratulations to all our competitors. But at the end of the night, it was 57-year-old Brad Spencer reigning supreme. Well, what a night for racing here in industry. Congratulations to all our competitors here at the Harley-Davidson Hooligan Qualifier. Many thanks to Diana Dahlgren, Lance Corey, Echo Entertainment, X Games. I'm Brandon Graham. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see ya at X Games Minneapolis. Yeah, wild lines. Wild lines, just stuff that they're gonna throw in. Put your cans back on, boy.